to see Reggie Rucker back on the set. That means Browns football is back, and we're glad to have you back, my friend.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's good to see your smiling, charming faces, and it's so good to be back with you talking about football, and I'm excited about what we are getting ready to see this year.
And what are we about to see, Reg? Everyone needs to know what is the first thing to think about when it comes to Browns football this year, an overall view, if you will, Reggie.
I think what we're going to see is it's going to be solid. Everything about the organization is going to be well thought out, well planned, and I believe that we're going to see some good football players out there. I'm not saying flashy, but I believe that the overall quality and the talent on this football team has been upgraded tremendously.
What does it mean to have Mike Holmgren leading this thing, a football guy? Is that the biggest difference in the way this franchise is moving forward?
Very good point, because it is. I think it's really a great sounding board for Eric Mangini. I think that when you've got Mike Holmgren down the hallway and you've got an issue, you've got something you want to work out in your head, something that you're not quite sure about. I mean, if you can walk down the hall and talk it over with Mike Holmgren, a guy who has won a Super Bowl and been to another and just has had a great coaching record, then I think you've got Big Brother and an eye in the sky that's going to be a valuable addition to the football team.
Coach Mangini just seems a lot more relaxed, more approachable. He doesn't seem like he's trying to lay down the law as much as he's just trying to, run the ship the way he wants to.
No, I remember in the early going when Mike Holmgren and Eric Mangini sat down to discuss the football team and philosophies and all of those things. And I think I remember one of the conversations where Mike Holmgren told Eric Mangini, you're a nice guy. You need to smile more. And I think that, seriously, that may have resonated with him. And I think Eric Mangini understands that, you know what, this isn't the end of the world. I'm privileged to coach the Cleveland Browns. There are a lot of opportunities here. And this guy could be the next savior. I mean, Eric Mangini could walk on water if he walks out here and goes 10-6 and maybe bumps the Cleveland Browns into the playoffs. But, we'll talk about that as we go.
Well, I think the question in most people's mind is going to be, is Mike Holmgren going to pull the trigger in the middle of the season? I think it's going to be extremely difficult for him to do that. They're running Mangini's offense. They're running Mangini's defense. For Holmgren to step in the middle during the middle of the season, even if things go the wrong way, I think it'd be very difficult to do it during the season this year. And don't you think that's got to give Eric a little bit of relief?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Mangini does have some downside protection in terms of what can and what cannot happen. And I don't think that Mike Holmgren would allow Eric Mangini to come back anyway if he's just going to pull the plug on him 4 or 5 games into the season. That doesn't make any sense, because as we saw last year, you can get on a winning streak in the National Football League and finish out very strongly, which this team did. But no, this is Eric Mangini's team. This is his show. And I think it's you can tell that, because one of the things that would have happened, obviously, from the very outset, is this football team would have changed its offensive philosophy. They would have acquired some really experienced wide receivers as opposed to focusing on the running attack.
I know you are. Now we're going to start talking about the players, the people you guys are going to be paying your money to see this season. Reg, who do we have to focus on? And I think that is great that we're not talking about Derek Anderson or Brady Quinn this year.
There's no drama.
Not at all. We know that Jake's going to be the guy. What's it like for the team to have a proven leader under center?
Makes all the difference in the world to have someone like Jake Delhomme calling signals. We dealt with here the last few years trying to convert throwers at the quarterback position into passers. And then the next step is to become a field general, a guy who can operate out there like he's understanding everything that's going on, who's in the flow, who knows how to audible, who knows how to get out of different things, who knows when to call the right play against certain defenses. So this is what you're going to see with Jake Delhomme. And also, to some extent, I think there's a boogeyman waiting for defenses of the National Football League, because I do believe that there's going to be another package this year, which includes Seneca Wallace and Josh Cribbs.
When you look at the situation now, you've got Jake Delhomme, and yesterday he talked about how he's playing with guys that get it. And I was kind of taken aback by the fact that Delhomme knows, look, I'm here for a reason. I don't want to end my career like it did last year. I'm here to do this. But I think one of the bigger pictures is that he is definitely here to mentor Colt McCoy. And we just haven't had that. Tim Couch didn't get that. Brady Quinn didn't get that. We've never had a quarterback, the Browns, I should say, have never had a quarterback to have someone mentor them like we saw, you know, in the past with Bernie Kosar.
You know, I understand journalistic ethics, but,
Yes.
you know, these are the Cleveland Browns. This is the most prized possession that we have here after, well, we won't get into that. But no, the quarterbacks here, I think, are certainly an opportunity for Colt McCoy to learn the right way. Had a chance to sit down with Colt McCoy and talk to him. And one of the things that happened when we stood up to leave is, I said, my goodness, you're as tall as me. I said, you're almost 6'3". I said, they say you're 6 foot, 6'1". He said, I don't know where that comes from, Mr. Rucker. They call me Mr. Rucker for some reason, I don't know. But, and that's, you know, that's significant, because if a Colt McCoy has had the kind of season in the years he had at Texas, and he has the skills, and he's standing that tall, I'm thinking, man, what a brilliant pick by the Cleveland Browns to get Colt McCoy in the 3rd round. So, I mean, this is, I have no issues with the way this team drafted. I think they stayed away from trying to reach, and they got solid football players. If there's any reach in the crowd, to some extent it may be T.J. Ward with that pick, but if he can make blockers disappear, as his reputation says he can, then, you know, that'll be a great pick as well.